Welcome to @Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Let's get a refresh on the top Arizona news of the week.
As opposition to allowing more Syrian refugees into the country grows, some protesters in Arizona are showing their support for Syrians seeking a safe haven. Protesters gathered at the state capitol, calling on the governor to reconsider his decision. Cronkite News reporter Erica Lang has the latest.
About 24 protesters showed up at the Capitol with a message for the governor. Arizona should not turn its back on refugees fleeing violence in Syria.
We reject your racism!
About 24 human rights activists gathered outside the Capitol. They're protesting the governor's announcement that Arizona should not accept any more Syrian refugees.
We reject your racism! Juicy!
It came after the terrorist attacks in Paris.
Oh, well, this happened in Paris, so we don't want anybody in Phoenix, or we don't want anybody in Arizona. And I'm sorry, but that just screams racism and xenophobia.
Protesters argue many of the refugees are fleeing terrorism and violence back home.
They're children, they're women. You see images of babies floating up onto the ocean, onto the beaches, and those are the people that are fleeing.
Now, it's not clear whether the governor's decision will make any real difference because it's ultimately the federal government that decides who gains refugee status and where they resettle in the United States. But that didn't stop protesters from trying to reach the governor. They marched to his office and demanded to see him. A staff member said he was not available. They left without a meeting, but felt they got their message across. So far this year, Arizona has accepted about 112 Syrian refugees. In the broadcast center, Erica Lang, Cronkite News.
Tax filing season has ended and federal investigators continue to warn the public about IRS impersonation phone scams that are targeting taxpayers and recent immigrants. Cronkite News reporter Maria Estrada is live in the media center with the details.
Federal investigators receive thousands of calls every month of aggressive con artists that are making calls to taxpayers demanding money. Even I received several messages on my home phone.
They try to con you out of your hard-earned cash.
Filing lawsuits against you.
Valley man Alex Ramirez got a message on his cell phone from someone claiming to be with the IRS.
The call, I didn't answer it because I didn't recognize the number. And they left a voicemail message. It was a call from the IRS saying that they had a lawsuit against me, and if I wanted more information, that I had to call a certain number.
But he didn't call back, which is something not many would have done.
First, I was a little worried, and then after a while, I started thinking about it, and I remembered about all the scams that people are going through.
The caller is saying that they work for the IRS, that you, the intended victim, owe taxes. You need to pay these taxes by a specific method with either a wire transfer or a direct payment card. Once you purchase this item, the tax scammer can get the information from you so that they can immediately drain that account.
Bill Brunson, who handles media relations for the IRS, says he's seeing this type of scam more and more.
Whenever a person buys into a particular tax scam, then it's like a feeding frenzy, and unfortunately it'll cause it to continue.
4,550 victims have paid over a total of $23 million nationwide. Ramirez hopes to help other potential victims.
I would say just be careful and make sure that you know what's going on with all these scams, because people are getting scammed left and right, especially with the holidays coming.
Although some progress is being made, agents still warn about these fraudulent phone calls.
A new report says Arizona is among the top 10 states for bad apple gun dealers. The 5% of federally licensed dealers that sold almost 90% of the traceable guns used in crimes. Cronkite News reporter Devin Conley is tracking the details of 2 Valley shops on that list.
The report is from the Brady campaign, which is exposing these bad apple dealers nationwide. Here in the Valley, the Lone Wolf Trading Company in Glendale with George W. Stahl Trading Post in Tempe made the list.
Almost 1 year ago, Windy City Pawn Shop made the same Brady campaign list, which linked guns found at crime scenes and traces back to their dealers.
I was quite surprised that our name was on a list. We're very conscious on who we sell a gun to.
Windy City owner Gary Primorano has since worked to clear its name and reduce crime-linked sales. But now, 2 more Arizona dealers are highlighted on the bad apple list. Lone Wolf, with 334 firearm sales traced to crimes from 1996 to 2000. George W. Stahl had 245 linked sales in the same time period. Neither of the shops were willing to comment. The Brady report also revealed that Arizona is the 10th worst state for bad apple dealers. Of all the guns found at Arizona crime scenes, 79% are from in-state. Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego was part of the Brady campaign effort. In an email statement to Cronkite News, Gallego wrote, "We must hold gun dealers to a higher standard of conduct and name and shame the bad apple dealers that make our communities less safe." But Primorano says safety efforts need to reach beyond the gun dealers.
You know, I think a lot of the violence, and unfortunately what you see is comes from certain areas of Phoenix. I think you have to look at the demographics, and you have to look at the people that are committing the crimes, and kind of go from there.
The Brady report also noted that crimes aren't always close to home. Arizona dealers are also responsible for sales that are over more than 2,000 guns used in crimes in other states. In the Broadcast Center, Devin Conley, Cronkite News.
More than 100,000 people visit Taliesin West in Scottsdale every year, and the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation wants to make sure that can continue for centuries. But without extensive preservation efforts, that won't be possible. As you look at Taliesin West, you see an architectural wonder that matches the landscape. What you can't see is the termite damage, plumbing problems, or roofing issues that's putting this wonder in danger.
Because we don't have the luxury of getting this wrong.
We do have to work very hard to balance the values and the principles and the work that Wright created from 1938 to 1959 with modern day needs.
Taliesin West was architect Frank Lloyd Wright's desert winter camp, as he called it. Arnold Roy became a Taliesin Fellow in 1952 after Wright interviewed him at the Plaza Hotel in New York.
So I flew down, had the interview, and then at the end of the interview he simply said, "Go out west and we'll try you out." And I've been here ever since.
Roy is a preservation architect here at Taliesin West, and part of the reason that not much has changed since he arrived 6 decades ago. But there's more to preservation than simply making sure these structures stay standing.
We are trying to preserve the buildings for sure, but also the spirit and the feel, the experience of what Taliesin West is.
The Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation spends millions of dollars each year in upkeep, but a new document looks much farther into the future and hopes of preserving the winter camp's past.
18 months, almost 2 years worth of research and work and interviews and study and analysis went into the preservation master plan that we've just now completed.
The main focus of the 760-page preservation master plan is in the historical core, which includes Wright's private residence, his office, the drafting studio, and living room. Preserving Taliesin West and Wright's legacy has always been the mission of his family, and is now left to those who feel like family.
I remember when Frank Lloyd Wright passed away, Mrs. Wright told us, "I'm going to make sure nobody forgets his name."
Arizona ranked #1 for the best state to live in because of how well state Medicaid programs serve those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. That's according to a study released this year by United Cerebral Palsy. But our state fails to make the top 10 list of the best states for special education services from the organization Autism Speaks. Cronkite News reporter Ivan Rodriguez tells us how this calls for a greater need and options when it comes to education and financing for children with autism.
I spoke with a family who has 2 daughters with autism and visited a school that focuses on helping children with special needs. I found educating children with ASD has its own challenges and how parents pick the best option.
Both girls are both diagnosed with autism. Mackenzie was diagnosed about 2.5, almost 3 years old. Sheridan was diagnosed about the same age.
The type of education autistic children will thrive in is unique to each child. The Andersons say their children have very different needs.
Mackenzie is in a self-contained classroom at a public school, and Sheridan is more regular education with resource pull-out. In the beginning for Mackenzie, it was a little rough trying to figure out what classroom would best fit her. A lot of trial and error. Probably about first grade is when we found the classroom that was really beneficial.
We were told at a very young age that Mackenzie would never say I love you, and we wanted to prove everybody wrong.
I remember one time we were at a little gym and Mackenzie wasn't talking yet, and she said something about swing, and I was sitting there in the middle of the little gym just screaming, hooting, hollering, and the mom was looking at me dumbfounded like, she said the word swing, what's the big deal? And it's like, you don't understand, we've been working at this so hard.
Both Mackenzie and Sheridan say they are very thankful for their parents.
For like helping us to become athletic and stuff. Yep. And for helping us like achieve our goals. And yeah, and help us learn and do facts and like help us with our homework sometimes. Yep. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for that.
Director Deborah Watland of the Sierra Academy in Scottsdale, which provides education for students with special needs, believes that early intervention is key and that taking advantage of the Empowerment Scholarship is a great resource.
A lot of our parents are able to access the Empowerment Scholarship account to provide those funds so that they can make the educational decisions rather than the public schools making the decisions for them.
The Empowerment Scholarship is state-funded. To be eligible, the school district has to identify the child as having a disability under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The child has to be entering kindergarten, and both the child and parents have to be Arizona residents. According to the Friedman Foundation, Arizona was the first state to enact an education savings account. 2,499 students are receiving the scholarship as of fall 2015. This accounts for only 22% of students eligible statewide. I'm Ivan Rodriguez, Cronkite News.
Schools in Arizona are teaching students sustainability through gardening. Cronkite News reporter Eleni Dower explains how they're doing it. School gardens
are on the rise in Arizona, with 22 schools already certified and 8 more waiting to be approved. I traveled to Tucson, where one school had many components to their garden to help their students learn. A coop of chickens, an aquaponics system with tilapia, and rows of vegetables are only a few things that Monzo Elementary has at their garden.
We've got a large composting area where we compost all of the food waste from the school. We're composting about 50 pounds of food waste a day.
The school is stepping up in sustainability by having a compost area, gathering rainwater, and harvesting their own produce.
It creates that circle, being able to live off the land, and that's what a lot of the schools are trying to teach their kids.
85% of the water that is used in the school gardens is harvested from rainwater, which is stored in this tank. The rainwater is used for their produce, and that produce goes into the cafeteria for lunch at least 5 times a year.
First time it was like crazy. Everyone was like rushing to go in the cafeteria because it looked so good.
The last garden a cafeteria harvest was a pesto sauce, but 5th grade student Luis Egurola was skeptical about trying it.
I was like, what was that? And then once I tasted it, I'm like, oh, this is good.
After learning about the garden in school, Egurola says he wants to have a garden when he grows up.
From school, it's been a great experience because it helps us think about our future.
Thompson says the garden is still growing and that he is hoping more will be done with integrating the academics. There are 4 steps to getting certified to bring food into the cafeteria. First, submit an application, then create a food safety plan and a garden map, and then request a site visit. In Phoenix, Eleni Dow, Cronkite News.
Every November, Arizona joins in celebrating a popular Central American food, pupusas. The traditional dish is the star attraction at the Pupusa Festival in Phoenix. As Cronkite News reporter Carla Leon shows us, it's a chance to experience Salvadoran culture here in the Valley.
It's a festival to celebrate the pupusa. Pupusas are made of corn flour and stuffed with a variety of fillings: meat, beans, vegetables, and of course, cheese.
Pupusas are so popular in El Salvador that they actually have their own holiday, which is the second Sunday of November.
The pupusa's popularity knows no borders. More than 4,000 people turned out for the Arizona Pupusa Festival.
We all come together to eat. Everybody has to eat, and I think pupusas would be a great way for people to learn about the culture and to try new food.
The pupusa is a symbol of the growing Central American community here in Arizona.
La comunidad latina en los Estados Unidos.
Salvadoran community is growing every day and is part of the Hispanic influence and economic engine for the United States.
Many, like the Ramirez family, started their own businesses to get ahead.
And try to make something happen, for ourselves and for our families. And hopefully at the same time, impact the community as well.
Central American immigrants left their homeland to build a better life in the U.S.
I think a lot of times there's a negative connection, when you think of El Salvador with all the negative things that are going on over there. And I think this is a good way to highlight the positive.
By sharing a tradition and a taste from home. In Phoenix, I'm Carla Leon, Cronkite News.
The latest national drug threat assessment released last month says drug overdose deaths are now the leading cause of injury death, outpacing motor vehicle and firearm deaths. Cronkite News reporter Sonny Scott talks with one Scottsdale family who lost their son to a heroin overdose 2 months ago.
The Federal Drug Enforcement Administration reported last month that heroin overdoses are increasing at a far faster rate than those associated with other illicit drugs, a pattern likely to continue because heroin is relatively cheap, easy to get, and highly addictive.
He was just full of energy all the time. It kept us on our toes. He pushed things to the limit all the time. He had a presence about him, and people were drawn to him. And that's why he had so many friends.
David Richter was supposed to leave for drug rehab on the 17th of September. Instead, just 1 day before he was set to get help, he was found dead in his apartment after overdosing on heroin. He was 23.
The drug is more powerful than the person. People don't understand that with heroin, how addictive and strong it is.
David had relapsed 13 times and been treated in multiple rehab centers.
I learned to detach myself away from the emotional part, but every time he did relapse, it was hard because I always had that fear that this would happen, that, I would get this phone call that he didn't make it this time.
Mary and her ex-husband Joe repeatedly tried to reach their son the day he died.
He would always get back to me within 5 or 10 minutes. I'm sleeping, I'm working out, I'm doing this, and he never did. And, and that's when I knew something was up.
His roommate, Paul Langford, also a recovering addict, found David dead.
And I got up in the morning, and when I was leaving to go to work, on this table, there was a needle. And so I just went, I just left it, I went to work. And about 9 o'clock, 9:30, I started calling him every 20 minutes.
He decided to go back home and check on him.
And so I walked up the rest of the room and I looked to the left, and laying halfway out the bathroom door, David was there on his back.
Corinne Fort, his girlfriend, says he was shooting up the night before.
I think I was somewhat frustrated because he'd just been up all night, and it was just a hard thing to see. It was a hard thing to see him like that. It hurt my heart to see him like that. And, but I know I kissed him goodbye, and I left for work. I'm gonna miss him every day.
Paul says he and David were best friends, going to concerts and doing anything to live a sober life.
I've never had a friendship like that with anyone. I've never been as close to anyone in my life as I was with David.
Paul had encouraged David to go back to rehab.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through.
Corinne and David met through mutual friends at a Heroin Anonymous retreat.
He would always unintentionally do things that just made me happy.
He left notes on their bedroom wall and on the kitchen chalkboard.
He wrote this for me the Monday before he passed.
He would say, "I'm not afraid of death, but I would never let it go that far. I'm not that stupid," but of course he didn't have any control over that, right?
Clips from this video provided by his mother chronicle David's life, one of hundreds of lives in Arizona lost to heroin.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
According to the DEA drug assessment report, an average of 120 people per day die of a drug overdose and are likely to increase. For more multimedia coverage on the impact of heroin, how families and law enforcement agents are coping, and to watch our full investigation, go to hookedaz.cronkitenewsonline.com. With the investigative team, I'm Sonny Scott, Cronkite News.
The gift of music doesn't come easy or cheap. With schools in Arizona having limited funds, music is the first to go, and lessons in the Phoenix area average about $30 per half hour. But Cronkite News reporter Yahaira Jaquez found a piano teacher in Phoenix who's making music accessible to all.
Watch closely, and each day you'll see children marching up and down this porch.
I see a lot of kids coming and going.
Outside, you can see why. Get close enough, and you can hear. This is the 40th year Carol Whaley has been teaching piano out of her West Phoenix home.
They learn new pieces, and all of a sudden their faces just light up.
Students like Allie Spiller, who struck her first chord with Mrs. Whaley back in the first grade.
And I stuck with it because once I really get good at it, it's really fun to play, like when you get good at the song and see how it feels.
It doesn't come easy. She hits the wrong notes, and getting the right tempo down is a challenge.
She'll correct me on it and be like, remember, hit this.
Mrs. Whaley lets them struggle and then helps. Her chair squeaks as she leans over, pointing to the right note.
You're figuring it out on your own, but she's there to go, do it this way and it'll be easier for you.
As Arizona schools spend less on the performing arts, Mrs. Whaley's classes are more valuable than ever. But it's more than classes that make neighborhood kids come back.
I like talking with her, and I tell her a lot of stuff, and she helps me get through it.
When she comes in, and as many of the children do, they want to talk to you. So piano lessons are more than just teaching piano. It's being a friend for them. Somewhere safe to go.
Somewhere safe in a neighborhood that needs it.
In this neighborhood, it means a lot. There are many children who would not be able to afford lessons. By having less expensive rates, it's given them an opportunity.
Neighborhood mom or grandma is her title, and no one can deny that.
I've lived here my whole life, grew up right across the street, so she brings a lot to the community. A lot of the kids know her.
They've learned over the years that it's a place you can come and just hang out and visit if you want, you know.
And she thinks she's hit a high note with that one.
I'm glad I've been able to influence so many lives. And I have students, ex-students, come by and say, I drive by your house and I remember.
It's a gift she has.
This is what Carol was designed to do. She has a gift of playing piano.
But also one she shares.
She has a gift with young kids, and it's what she was made to do.
In Phoenix, Yahaira Jaquez.
Oh, good job.
Cronkite News.
Mrs. Whaley works out pricing with each family, making sure cost isn't a reason for a child not to take lessons.
Now, here's an @Cronkite News Pick of the Week, a favorite from the Cronkite News staff.
Now, we want to leave you tonight with a look at a special company here in the Valley. Reporter Sydney Glenn introduces us to Paper Clouds Apparel, which combines creative design with a desire to help those in need.
As you walk into Stage 3 printing in Tempe, it may appear routine, workers spreading a rainbow of colors to form hundreds of t-shirts. But the designs being printed today aren't your typical tees.
I made a robot.
The artist behind the shirt is 13-year-old Cameron Albers. She has Down syndrome, but that didn't stop her from creating this, an alien robot, as she called it. Paper Clouds Apparel's mission is to showcase the creativity and artistic talents of individuals with disabilities while raising money for special needs organizations.
Every single one of our products that we sell, 50% of the proceeds go right back to a special needs cause, whatever cause they're teamed up with.
The idea for Paper Clouds Apparel was born from a simple drawing that founder and CEO Robert Thornton found hanging on his mother's fridge.
She took a job as a bus driver for children with special needs. I was back home visiting, and I saw this drawing and was mesmerized by it. And from that day on, the idea, just like a light bulb, came on.
Bringing life to the artwork and joy to the artists, like Justin Lundeen, who has created several designs.
I'm so happy.
Paper Clouds relies heavily on social media to help spread the word about their ever-changing campaigns. And with more than 60,000 Facebook followers, it seems to be working.
Running a business where you give away 50% of your proceeds, it's not like we have a ton of money just sitting around to spend on marketing, you know? So having a free market and be able to reach people through social media we couldn't survive without social media.
When you go to papercloudsapparel.com to place an order, you swipe through to pick your design. What you might not know is that when it arrives, all the packaging was done by workers with special needs.
The unemployment rate for people with a disability is double what the unemployment rate is. The unemployment rate we hear all the time, I think right now it's about 5%. It's over 10% for people with disabilities.
All of Paper Cloud's packaging is done at the Center for Habilitation, which gives disabled workers more than job opportunities. It gives them a sense of independence, especially when it comes to payday.
Sometimes I like to save it and sometimes I like to spend it. It's my choice.
The squeaky sounds of printing means Cameron's shirts are almost done.
I've heard this one say that she's super excited about 100 times today. And it's so cool to see it come to life.
Proof that something as simple as a t-shirt can have a lasting impact. In Tempe, Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News tracks your likes, tweets, and shares from all our social sites to bring you this news special. At Cronkite News, our weekly refresh. Join the conversation so you choose the news. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org for top Arizona stories anytime.
8 is Arizona PBS, a service of Arizona State University.